Now, one more thing to add to that is, let's take off the alerts. In fact, let's leave that on and let's go to number 2, is the capital. Now, I don't mean money, I mean emotional capital. And again, similar to number 1, but we're talking more about cognitive learning, decision-making process and helping that to keep you fresh. Second is emotional capital, and that comes back again to these kind of things. Don't overanalyze things. If you overanalyze things, you're just going to put yourself under more pressure and you're going to lose focus far quicker. Accept that things are random, because at that point you can become at peace and feel confident about the trade, or not necessarily confident, but feel comfortable this trade doesn't matter. It's just part of a bigger picture. In the timeline of trades over your career, it's the smallest possible minuscule thing. Accepting the risk again allows you to stay focused and say, listen, this is the risk. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to do anything else different. I just need to just concentrate on doing, executing, and protecting your emotional capital, guys. That is the biggest thing. I cannot say, have I spelled that right? Emotional capital. It's the biggest possible thing. Honestly, protect that with all your might. Financial capital can be replaced. You may think you're in your last bit of cash, but honestly, that can be replaced. This is so much harder to get back, which is why remaining focused means that you don't get yourself into situations that are going to hurt you. You don't deviate from your rules, as in you don't add to position, you don't go into position size, increase position size that you shouldn't be doing. You don't take setups from the hip. You structure everything. You still give yourself that discretion, but you structure everything. And that helps you to remain focused, because you can go in the day with clarity. You can go into the day saying, listen, this is my checklist for the day, and we'll do another video on that at some point. This is my checklist for the day. This is what I'm going to do for the day. These are my levels for the day. Very structured, very careful, very focused. You don't, once you've done that, then you can wait for your setups, rather than going in, as so many traders going without a plan, without an approach, without a structure. And of course, that means that they have to focus flat out from the very moment they sit at the desk. And of course, by several hours, they're starting to flag a little bit, because they're there, they look at the screen, they're waiting, they want to trade, they want to get going, and they're not giving themselves the breaks they need. So if you have this process, you do the checklist, and it says, listen, I'm not going to trade the open today, because the checklist has shown me, whenever you've got the checklist, that it's not my type of market. So you can go away, you can do something else, whatever you like to do, knowing and not feeling guilty that you're not taking the trade, because you know that you're comfortable with the process that you've got, and you know that it's protecting this emotional capital that is so important. And you know that when you come back to the market in the afternoon or even the next day, this will be at 100%. Your focus will be 100%, and that means you can execute quickly, effectively, and you can do the job. If you're draining this down and down and down and down and down and down, and you're draining this down and down and down because you've been grinding away, you've been losing, or you've been making money, or been just literally breaking even, trading a choppy lunchtime environment, that's going to be drained down, because you think, why did I get involved in that? I could have been down at the gym, or could have been down doing something else. This is going to be drained really badly, and then what happens is you come into the afternoon period, and you're in the afternoon period, you want to get involved in it, and you go, oh man, I just can't focus on it. Is that a trade? Is that a setup? Is that? And it just ruined the whole opportunity. So not only have you done the damage initially, but it's also had a knock-on effect for the afternoon, because you've diminished your emotional capital. And the worst case scenario from this aspect here is that you do so much damage to it that it has a knock-on effect on the next day and the next day and the next day, because you feel, then you come up with fear, because your emotional capital is so reduced, you get fear of pulling the trigger, or you flip to the other side and you're too keen on pulling the trigger because you want to make money back, or you think that you've wasted your time. So remaining focused isn't about the ability just to stay centered in and zoomed in. You've got to be careful of that. It's the flip side of that. It's not doing that that's what's making you the money. It's focusing when the actual trade setup is there, or the environment that's conducive to the strategy you're about to employ is there. That's the key to focus. So you're not worrying about things like that, about how intently do I need to concentrate. It's knowing that you've got a limited amount of concentration, either the week, of the day, whatever it may be, and using that full power when it's at its most effective, then backing off. Full power when it's its most effective, then backing off. Which is why I'm a big advocate of using computers and processing power to take the strain on a systematic approach and then giving yourself that discretionary element rather than just being a discretionary guy who's there, scalping all day long. Because guys, even the people who are making big money scalping for prop firms have still got a strategy they employ. They still know what they do. And I know guys who will literally focus their whole energy on the Open and then not trade again until the US Open. So Euro Open, US Open, Asian Open even, and know that they can't keep that up all day, but know that's when they're most effective and really hammering it. And even from a swing trading perspective, let's say you're very, very good at getting on the end of trends that come after earnings, in which case, just focus on that. Just literally drill everything out and say, when earnings are out and the market's moving, it's gapping up, I'm going to focus on it and I'm going to give it 100% of this. That's already full. That's full. I can play it. I know my risk. I can do everything I need to do. But I'm respecting myself. I know that I can't be focused all the time. I know I've got to be careful with this. So I'm not getting involved in little tiny patterns in the prior few days that I know aren't that good for me. I'm waiting for exactly the right moment, exactly the right time. Then I'm hitting it full force with as much focus as I can and as much reserves as emotional capital as I can.